Hi, my name is Artem Malashov. I'm an IT journalist and podcast host at awclub. Today's episode is the first in a series of podcasts about IT in different parts of the world. We want to collect stories from native residents of various countries and hear their stories about their companies, universities, communities, salaries, traditions, most popular languages, what book they read, what courses they take, what conferences they attend, what we do outside of work, and so on. Our guest today is DJ Beats, a musician from Beirut, Lebanon. And yeah, all his colleagues call him just Beats. And of course, he is also a software developer. Beats studied computer science in Beirut and Manchester, and then he worked for 8 years at the largest IT company in Lebanon. So, let's listen to his story. Tell me about yourself. Where are you live now? What are you doing now?
So, first of all, I'm from Lebanon.
Mhm.
I moved to Prague maybe 9 months ago, almost 8.5, 9 months ago. It was like a very unexpected move, but I got an offer from Microsoft, and I was like, okay, now I have to move. Because like that was never the plan to move out of the country, but yeah, the offer was good, and it's like Microsoft, big company. I was like, okay, let's go.
So,
And here I am now in Prague, Czech
so
Republic.
before Microsoft, before Czech Republic, did you live your whole life in Lebanon?
I was in Lebanon until I applied for my master's, which was in Manchester, at the University of Manchester. I did a master's in software engineering. I lived there for a year and then went back to Lebanon.
How you started to learn software development, engineering, and all this?
To be honest, it's quite an interesting story. So I don't know if it's also the same in your culture, but like in Lebanon, like it's like what you do in life is like the family's pride. And when you finish school, you have to be an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. Otherwise, everything else doesn't count. I mean, you can't do business, you can't do like, I don't know, like psychology, languages.
It
Yeah, you
sounds
have to be
really
like one of
familiar
these.
to me.
Yeah.
Really familiar, yeah.
So, and like at school, I was like really good at physics and math, and like that automatically means you have to apply for mechanical engineering. So, yeah, my application had like in civil engineering, and I gave the application to, there was like a representative of the class in school that was like taking the applications because the school would apply for universities. And she told me like, why do you just have like two entries? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get accepted anyways. Like I'm like one of the top students at school, so I don't really care. She was like, okay, I'm gonna add computer science for you. I was like, yeah, add whatever you want. It doesn't matter. And then like a few months later, I get like the university gets back to us, and like I was only accepted at computer science. I was like, what? Wait, okay. Well, I mean, what happened? Apparently, the school like delayed the process, and the capacity for engineering students was already taken. So, like, yeah, by the time my application was there, all mechanical engineering and civil engineering slots were taken. So, like, you'd automatically get accepted at the third or like whatever is left. I was like, what is this computer science about? I have no idea. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just start university and I'll transfer. Like after my first semester, I'll move to civil engineering or mechanical engineering. And I take like the first course, CMPS 200, which is like just basic programming. And like, not that I've always liked computers, and yeah, I used like especially hardware. Like I would not be hesitant to like open the desktop and like remove things and change RAM, and it's like basic stuff that like you would do when you're like 13, 14. And yeah, I've always like played around with like Windows properties and sometimes would break stuff, but never thought that like I would be doing something related to like computers or something like this. And yeah, I took this class. It was like an introduction to programming. And like I only took it because I know like in engineering apparently you also need to take like one programming class. So I was like, okay, it's still gonna count as part of my mechanical or civil engineering credits, so it's not gonna go to waste. And I actually loved it. I thought like, like the logic and programming and the things you do are quite nice.
So you decided
Uh,
to stay
so
in
I mean,
computer science.
I didn't, but I had like because first semester didn't go really well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I had like so I still had to be in computer science for the second semester. Uh, uh, and I thought, yeah, still after the second semester you have to I have to move. And again, because computer science in my country is not labeled as like an engineering,
Mm-hmm.
so you're not an engineer.
Oh no.
So yeah, it's not part of the faculty of engineering. So I would still be ashamed for my family that I'm not an engineer.
And what faculty is this?
It's like arts and sciences.
Arts and science.
Yeah. Like I think a few years ago, they moved it to engineering, but like back then when I was a student, it was part of arts and sciences.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it's like an economics major. It's like the same faculty as those other majors that like people look at like in shame, like, what's your economics student? Why? You probably weren't accepted in engineering. That's why you're doing economics. Uh, so yeah, my second semester, like when you start taking like more difficult stuff and algorithms and data structures, and I was doing really well, and I was like, yeah, like these things are nice because you need like to have some logic in there. And yeah, I thought like, yeah, I like this. I don't have to be an engineer. I
Mm-hmm.
was doing really good, so I was like, okay, I'll stay.
Oh, it sounds like a destiny.
I mean, I should be thankful for that girl who was at school who added computer science for me because I know like fellow friends who did mechanical engineering or civil engineering,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they're not doing that good.
So,
There's so many engineers. I mean, that's usually the problem. Half of the country would be engineers, and like there's no jobs enough for everyone,
mhm.
and yeah, you just won't get a job.
So as far as I understood, tell me if I'm wrong. Uh, IT, information technologies, computer science is not really popular in Lebanon.
It wasn't, I would say, like 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But now, like recently, it has been getting like more and more popular, I would say.
Yeah. So,
Because like I'm talking about days when just maybe for people so that like they can reference. Back then when I was in university, I still had like my phone was still a Nokia. It was like those N series.
mhm.
Uh, we used to text through like text messages through SMS. So like WhatsApp wasn't there. I think Facebook was like, yeah, still like starting. It was like the start of Facebook
Mhm.
back then. And we used to like talk with friends on MSN Messenger, which is dead now.
So it was 2006, 2007. What year was it?
2009.
2009.
Yeah,
Okay.
2009, 2010. Yep.
2000. Okay. Okay.
That feels like it. I feel like too old now when I say this.
Yeah. Don't say that. Yeah, we are old now.
Yeah.
Okay. What can you say about quality of education? About your professors, teachers?
I think like for Lebanon, the quality of education was really good compared
Mm-hmm.
to countries around. Uh, I used to think like my professors are really good.
Mm-hmm.
They know about the subjects. They were always like able to answer our questions. But I only noticed that they are a bit behind when I moved to the UK and Manchester. So my expectations were like, yeah, I was like also a really good student at university, so I'm just gonna go there and I'm gonna ace it. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna be like top student. And I go there, like everyone is like much older than me. I was like 5, 7, 10 years of experience, people coming from Android, people working at Cisco.
Wow.
And I was like, I just graduated. And then like over there, I see a different kind of professors who really love what they do. And I mean, they're always updated with new things. Whereas professors in my country, I felt that, okay, they graduated, they had their PhD, and like ever since then, they haven't like tried to look at new things or read about new technologies, things like this. They're still stuck to what they learned and they will just teach you the same things.
This is also sounds familiar to me. Yeah.
Okay, as well? Okay.
Yeah. What was your first programming language?
Java.
Java.
Yeah. We
So it
started
was.
with Java and then you get like, you take this, for me, useless course where you like learn one language every week. And like at the end of the course, you didn't learn anything. Because like you learn like C++, C, Python, and it's just like very basic stuff, and you have a very small assignment to do. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I would prefer to take a course in Python, for example. And like at least at the end of the course, I can say like now I know Java and I know Python. Whereas that course was just a waste of time.
But for me, it sounds really good because what I heard about in universities, professors, and all of that, in academic sphere, old languages are popular. Old languages, which are not used in production right now.
Yep. Yes. I mean, I think I was lucky with Java. I mean, I don't know Python, but it was one of the like things we learned, and you learn them like very briefly.
So after graduation, you went to Manchester, right?
Yes, correct. And yeah, you want to know the reason as well?
Yeah, I would like to know.
It's just because the master's degree in UK is a 1-year program, and I just thought that I can do a master's in 1 year, so why? I mean, why would you waste 2 years somewhere else and you're
I
gonna get the
understand
same
you. It's
degree?
it's a good
Yeah,
reason. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not
but
judging you.
yeah, I know, but at the same time, it's because you can't just be a computer science graduate.
Yeah,
You have to have a
degree.
master's degree now. Yeah, it feels better. Like, yeah, our child, like my son, is a master's degree graduate from the University of Manchester, and now like it feels like it's quite
Maybe he's
important.
not engineer, but he has master's degree.
I mean, at the University of Manchester, it was part of the Faculty of Engineering. So yeah, exactly. So now I can go back to my country, and my degree would be an engineering degree.
So you got back to your country, and what was next?
So I spent 1 year in UK. I got some. I'm not going to say job offers. I'd say interviews for some companies there, but I didn't go because I just hated the weather. And I said, I just want to go back to my country. And the thing I had in mind at first is because it was a 1 year program, it was like very intense. I thought, okay, I'm gonna go back to Lebanon and I'm just gonna take a break for 1 year. I don't want to do
Sounds
anything.
great.
Yeah, then first month was amazing. I like out with my friends, like every day having fun, going out. Second month, yeah, your friends are not always like favorable maybe at first because like they haven't seen you in a year, and yeah, they are free. But second month, I mean, you go out from time to time, but then you have nothing to do. Third month was like, no, I felt like a waste of oxygen. Like I'm just a useless human being. Just I eat, I sleep, and that's it. I was like, no, I
Okay.
need to find a job. So I applied to a company. It's called Mirex. Uh, it's like the top software engineering company in my country.
Top
And
software engineering company.
yeah.
Okay.
And I got accepted. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, let's see. And I stayed there for 8 years.
Mm-hmm. 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also a Java developer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and yeah, I would say top because we don't have dev offices for companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
all of these. You just have like a small office for sales or something like this, but no like big hubs for software engineers.
Before we go next, tell me a little bit more about your country, about Lebanon. Sorry, I know a very little about it.
Okay. I
Tell me
mean,
more, please.
Lebanon is a very interesting country because geographically it falls in a very sensitive area on Earth.
Yeah.
That part of the world is not very stable, I would say. Like if you look at the past 15, 20 years, you had the Syrian war, we had lots of refugees, lots of political issues in my country,
Mm-hmm.
assassinations happened, uh, protests, the regime was changed. So you would have like 2 or 3 years where things are stable, everything is fine. Then something happens and things go bad. So it was never like a country where you would want to invest.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, as in like for like tech companies, let's say. But it was really good for anyone who wanted to invest in tourism and anything around like hospitality, entertainment. So like nightlife is among the best in the world, I would say. Uh, we have like in Lebanon, I think in the top 100 clubs, I think we have like 2 or 3 clubs in the top 100, even though like it's a very small country
Mm-hmm.
and you'd expect like not to have any. Um, Food is great. Like maybe you know about about the food a little bit, but yeah, it's like one of the best cuisines in the world, I would say. Uh, so yeah, lots of people as well love the food. The weather is nice. You get lots of sun in summer. In winter, it's not crazy cold, but you still get snow in the mountains, and you have like ski resorts,
Mm-hmm.
uh, super nice beaches during summer. Uh, Tourism was a big thing, and I think it was like the main reason why Lebanon has been surviving for the past like 30, 40 years after the civil war ended. It's mainly because of tourists who would come and spend money and expats
Mm-hmm.
who
Mm-hmm.
left the country and they sent money over. Because like during the war, lots of people left. Uh, and fun fact is you have more Lebanese abroad than you have Lebanese in Lebanon. And maybe not
Yeah.
just abroad, you have more Lebanese in Brazil
Oh,
than you
cool.
have in Lebanon. Yeah,
Okay.
so I think in Brazil you have like maybe 7 or 8 million
Mhm.
Lebanese,
But
whereas Lebanon's population is like 4 million, I think 4.5 million.
for a big part of your life, you decided to stay.
Yes,
You
because
haven't left.
I was born after the Civil War ended.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the time where things were stable up
Mm-hmm.
until like 2005, 2006. Yeah, that's where like we started having assassinations, random bombings around, lots of protests in the center, which killed like a lot of the touristic spots like in downtown where
Mhm.
you'd expect like all tourists to go. It was like closed with tourists. Not, I mean, they wouldn't go there because it's just like tents and the roads are blocked and protests happening. And like if someone wants to visit, they're probably not gonna go there. And then the Syrian war happened, and we had like lots of Syrian refugees, which like helped the collapse. And then we had like one of the worst economical crises,
Mhm.
probably worse than the one in Venezuela. And fun fact is, I mean, as of today, tomorrow it's definitely going to be worse. But like the biggest paper bill we have is less than $1 now. It's like 95 cents.
Oh,
So
oh
imagine, yeah, if
God.
you want, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Big bags of money.
yes, I mean, this is, yeah, we start to see huge numbers now, like in hundreds of millions to buy, I don't know, something that used to cost
Mhm.
maybe a million now. You see like zeros and you start counting zeros.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the banking sector collapsed. People now just deal with paper money. They
Mhm.
kind of carry money in like small bags now if you want to go out. Uh, and you probably heard about the August 4 explosion.
Yeah, I
It's
heard
like
it.
the biggest
Yeah.
non-nuclear explosion to ever happen. Yeah,
Mhm.
that happened like maybe now 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Uh,
Have you
and
seen
yeah,
it?
I mean, I could from the office of my previous work at Mirex,
Mhm.
I could see I could see the port from the window, and that was at the
Oh.
office when it happened. And yeah, it was a crazy day, to be honest, because it happened. I look out, I mean, the whole building was shaking. It feels like an
Oh God.
earthquake.
Oh my God.
And I look out of the window and there's like this big chunk of smoke, and it was
Mhm.
like red in color and like very weird. And like first 10, 15 minutes you don't understand what's happening. You're
Mhm.
just I mean, what do I do now? Shall I leave? Do I stay? I was I was also in a call with my team who were in Dublin, and I just left the camera open and I left. And like they didn't understand anything. Like there was like, what is wrong with? I mean, why did he just leave?
Oh, it was just the
Uh,
biggest explosion in history of
yeah, but
explosions.
they couldn't hear it like through the headset. They couldn't
Yeah.
hear the explosion, so like they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And yeah, at first you would think that something maybe it's something that happened like close to the building or somewhere like down the street. So like yeah, we looked like as I was leaving, like all the doors were shattered, every like piece of glass was on the floor.
Mhm.
And then yeah, you leave the building, you look, and like there's glass all over the street. You're like, okay, something happened over here. I go to my car and like I head home, and like on the way you see like, oh, there's still more glass, there's still more glass, there's still more glass. And I'm like now like 2 or 3 kilometers away from the office, and like I could still see shattered glass everywhere
Oh
and
my
people
God.
still the blood. And like, yeah, you still don't know what this is. Because like the more you go, you start to realize that okay, this is bigger than I thought. This is bigger than I thought.
Mhm.
This is bigger than I thought. And of course, usually when things like this happen, everyone is trying to call their parents, their friends,
Mhm.
and then the phones will not work anymore. Because like there's too much. Everyone is trying to call someone. Internet doesn't work anymore. Yeah, you don't know who's alive, who's dead, who's injured.
Your relatives, your friends, are they okay?
Yeah, I mean, no one was badly injured, I'd say.
No, good to hear.
But I'd say everyone in Beirut got damaged somehow. You either had
Yeah,
something
yeah.
broken at home, glass shattered, maybe doors.
Mhm.
Because of the pressure, the door would just like go out of its place.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was crazy times, and it was COVID as well. Like it
Yeah.
was COVID times, and
I
after the
remember COVID
explosion,
times, yeah.
COVID spread even worse. because like
Oh
everyone
no.
was rushing to the hospitals. No one was like, no masks, nothing. Nobody cares anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, sounds like an apocalypse. Yeah,
Yeah.
so sad to hear. So, in these circumstances, oh, I mean, everything you told about, you're a computer scientist with master degree. So you you came back to your native country and you have 3 months break and you apply to your first work. As far as I understand, it's not really easy to be a computer science or software engineer. Or you, how do you see it? Is it okay? I'm a software engineer here. Yeah, maybe it's difficult, but okay.
I mean, now it's much better
Mm-hmm.
because I think the domain is more popular, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
and people know what you do, and people know that it's not something easy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's always the concern, when you say like you're a doctor, it means like you're like should be like very smart or very hardworking. Uh, so yeah, I would say over the past like 6, 7 years, the domain became more popular.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and schools were giving like more education on. So you would have now a computer class where you would learn things like Excel, Visual Basic, or some like maybe basic programming at school,
Mm-hmm.
which wasn't the case back in my days. Um, yeah, and like since the domain is becoming more popular, you have more people around you to ask about like what they do. You have
Mm-hmm.
access to the internet. You can check what these domains are about. Plus, I think the rise of like the big tech companies also helps uh, because like yeah, if someone doesn't know a lot and you need to explain, it's like yeah, a software engineer works at Microsoft, for example,
Mm-hmm.
or Facebook, or I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
they would. I mean, they would know what you do or where would you work, for
Mm-hmm.
example. Whereas before, like, yeah, if you say you're a software engineer, yeah, so what do? You fix
Mm-hmm.
PCs. So, like, yeah, if I have an issue with my computer, you fix it for me. Or, yeah, or
Yeah.
people would think, yeah, you'd install like Windows or Excel or format a hard disk and install everything over again. For them, like, this is as far as it goes. This is
Yeah.
what you do. Yeah, troubleshoot
And
issues.
this is also sounds really familiar to me.
I
Yeah.
think it's kind of the same culture. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of the same culture.
So, your first job, first company, can you remind me?
It's called,
It's called
Mirex.
Mirex. So this is
Yes.
the biggest IT company in your country,
Yes.
top
Yes.
company. And what's its specialization? Uh, what it develops?
Mirex is like a company that, it's owned by Lebanese.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's multinational, so it has like branches that cover, I would say, like 24-hour zones. What they do is they do software for banks,
Mm-hmm.
for, risk and stuff around like trading.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like technical stuff that I still don't understand.
So is it
Uh,
service company or is it or I?
no, I
It's
mean they
made
weren't
their
selling
own products,
services.
selling
No,
services.
yeah, you'd have historically it was just a product that was growing and growing and growing. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, now with the rise of services, and that was like around the time I was leaving, they were starting to try and migrate to like software as a service where they would host something on the cloud and
Mm-hmm.
you would subscribe and use the services. Uh, for me, the reason why I don't know a lot about the product is, first of all, it's a huge product. Like there's a lot of small components. But I started in the research and development team, which was like the only team that like everyone thinks like, yeah, they live in their own world and they don't have to deal with anyone. So we're always like, yeah, trying to build things and do things that no one has any idea about, that's not integrated into the system. We had like our own pipelines, our own build. Everything was separate from the rest of the company. And yeah, we were trying to build something that's probably going to be used in the next few years. So yeah, something interesting that was, I think that was like the last thing we started working on, was they were trying to build an incremental real-time database where like you can subscribe to that, and then if you have like a dashboard with numbers and some data comes in, your dashboard will refresh in real time.
Wow.
So yeah, you won't miss like any data. It's not like you have to go and do a refresh.
You was in a top team of a top company in the country.
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. Yep.
What can you say about other companies? What is it common for other companies to develop in your country? What's the usual company in Lebanon looks like?
Mainly the rest of the companies were startups, I would say. Recently there was like a new tech hub that was built, let's say. It was like a new building and someone owns it and he transferred it into a tech hub, and like a startup would pay a rent and get like a few rooms or something like this. And yeah, I think mainly it was around developing phone apps for iOS and Android. But I wouldn't say it was anything like maybe more complex than that.
Okay.
I mean, startups were good. I wouldn't say like they were bad. We have one startup that actually boomed, which is called Anrami, which is not something like crazy. I could explain it in just one sentence. It's the Arabic version of Spotify.
Okay.
So it's just Spotify.
You just explained it in one sentence.
Yeah. It's just. I mean, because sometimes you don't have to create something that is crazy. Sometimes you just need to.
Yeah.
And there's something that's out there, and you just have to do exactly the same thing. So yeah, they created a Spotify for the Arab world, for people who listen to Arabic music, because no one had a platform like this before. And now like it's a multi-million-dollar company.
Wow.
And if you think of it, you're like, why didn't anyone think of this before? And those guys just thought of it and they built it, and they started growing.
Maybe we should do more services for Arabic world.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was actually one of the companies I thought I would want to work for, because like I'm into music, like DJing, and I thought, yeah, this might be a good idea, because like it's like music and software engineering, so yeah, it's a good combo. But I don't know, like Murex was always better. It was like more stable, better salaries, better benefits. And they couldn't compete. So I was like, maybe not. Maybe I'll just stick to what I have. I would say the only problem that prevents, I would say, IT companies from growing is like the stability in my country. It's not really a very stable place. I think we have the most expensive internet in the world. So yeah, for your phone, you would pay, I think, like $10.
$10 for 1
10
month.
US dollars for 1 month of 1.6 gigabytes of data.
Oh no.
Which is, I mean, like what? Yeah, I think it's the most expensive in the world.
I think,
but the quality is
maybe
not
it
like
is.
crazy. Yeah, it's not like you don't get like I don't think we have 5G yet. Even 4G is It's
Mm-hmm.
not really 4G. It's like they call it 3.5G. It's like, so yeah, also that doesn't help. And I can tell you like about my previous company because we started losing employees. So they opened another office. So like the company was willing to invest in a new office in Cyprus,
Mm-hmm.
which is just like 30 minutes by plane away from Lebanon,
Mm-hmm.
and relocate people to Cyprus at their own expenses. And like they would move you and your family and your children and everything in just 2 weeks, just so that people don't leave.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just
Does
because
it
of
work?
the
Does it work?
I mean, lots of people went, yes,
Mm-hmm.
mm, because I mean, sometimes people don't want to change work. Sometimes it's difficult for people because, especially for like married people who have like children and then they have to look for another job and move to another country. And Cyprus is very close to Lebanon, so anytime, like if even during the weekend, if you want, you can book a flight and come back. And it's like a few hours you'll be in your like home with your family or friends or whatever. And yeah, I think it was like really smart because otherwise everyone would have left.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
May
too
I
hard.
ask one question, which is
Yes,
not
sure.
really, but if it's not okay for you, you just can skip it.
Nah, man.
Yeah,
Nah.
yeah. Can you tell me about common salaries in for Lebanese developers, for like
Okay.
middle developer, senior developer?
So I would say at Mirex, which is the highest paying
Mm-hmm.
company, uh, like a junior, someone who just graduated, would start with like 2,300 or $2,400 a month.
For junior starting,
Yeah. You're starting with that salary, yes.
and
But again,
for
like Mirax is like the highest paying.
yeah, it
Like
sounds
probably the
okay.
second best would be like 1,600, 1,400.
Mm-hmm. And
You
for
might get more in startups though, but I
mm-hmm.
mean with startups, you don't know. Like maybe you might stay there for a month, you might stay there for 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
It's a bit risky.
compare to salaries outside IT.
Uh, Again, like if I say like because I'm taking Mirax as an example, which was the highest paying,
Mm-hmm.
um, you would be doing more than a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer. So like a mechanical engineer would start with 1,200,
Mm-hmm.
1,400, maybe 1,600 in like the top engineering companies. Top
Okay.
like among the top in the region, in the Middle East region.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
that's like starting salary is like $600 a month more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And about IT, again about IT, about Lebanese IT, is it more focused on internal market or they try to make international
No,
services?
no. It's more like international. Because again,
International.
Lebanon is a very small country and you just
Mm-hmm.
can't rely on the market in Lebanon.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to make too much money. Just like, I mean, Anghami started in Lebanon, but it was targeting like the whole Arab world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like everything going from Emirates, Saudi Arabia, passing through Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, Libya, Tunis, Maghreb.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a lot of people
Yeah.
and a lot of
Yeah.
countries. So yeah, if you have a few subscribers in every city,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing well.
What can you say about Lebanese IT community, about people?
Interesting question.
Is it big?
Uh,
Is there a lot of people there?
no, I wouldn't say it's a lot of people. again, you have more civil engineers and mechanical engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's not big because I think all the good people leave because you don't have good opportunities. You
Mm-hmm.
could start in Lebanon, working somewhere to get some experience, but eventually lots of people leave, especially in IT world,
Mm-hmm.
because we still don't have those like big companies, or maybe not even big companies, but like companies that do like big projects or interesting projects.
Mm-hmm.
You could work in Lebanon, but I think, yeah, 1 year in, you stop learning anything new. You just do the same thing all over again.
And what
Just
about
developing
people
mobile
who
apps.
and what about people who develop these startups for whole Arabic world? I mean, Arabic Spotify.
Again, those were like the big. I'd say the biggest. Like, they had, even the office was like the most modern, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if because again, when you talk about IT, you also talk about these things. So it wasn't like the very basic IT company. So, and they
Mm-hmm.
were, I think they were ahead of everyone else. Uh, so they had the plan. They had nice offices. They treat their people well.
Mm-hmm.
But even like those guys, they expanded outside of Lebanon, and I think now they have offices in Emirates, in Dubai, and most of the employees moved there.
Ah, I understand. Okay. Do you have any professional meetups, professional conferences,
Uh,
offline communities?
not not a lot, no. There's this tech hub I was telling you about that was renting offices. Yeah, the past few years they've been doing like, yeah, tech talks
Mm-hmm.
for people, but I mean I'm not eligible to also talk about that because I was like never involved in these communities.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I mean it's not. I wouldn't say it's big. No, I wouldn't say it's big.
Okay. So it's not a usual thing to go. I say go to drink a couple beers with another developers from
No, no,
different
no, no,
companies. No.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
Because
it's a
like
pity.
even like because I know usually when you talk about developers and software engineers, you expect them like, yeah, this is what they do all day, and like, yeah, they're reading about what API came out or like this new
Yeah.
technology, or no, like Lebanese people are a bit different. Like, yeah, they are we're hard workers because we don't have another choice. It's
Mm-hmm.
because of like the country we live in and the whole situation. We just learn to work hard because like that's the only way to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we like to live life, and it's not like, yeah, work is what we do all the time or think about work. So yeah, when you finish work, you would even if you go out with some friends at work, you would not talk about work or discuss things like this.
You know, it's great. It's really great.
Yeah,
I think,
I know, I know,
yeah.
I know,
So
I
tell me
know.
more about this life outside work. So you leave office. What do you do next?
Yeah, probably go to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
go like go see some friends somewhere, play
Oh,
games,
come on! Tell me
things like
about
this.
nightclubs, the best nightclubs in the world.
Uh, the nightclubs. Yeah, we have among the best. I mean, maybe I can say we had among the best nightclubs in the world because after the explosion,
Oh.
yeah, most of the clubs were destroyed because, yeah, most of them were in the city and they didn't want to invest in renovation. So
Mm.
some of them just didn't open again. Uh, but like one of the famous clubs we have is a club called BO18. And
Mm-hmm.
like this is to show you the thing I was talking about before. BO18 is actually a bomb shelter, which was there from the war.
Hmm.
And you can Google that and read more about it. It used to be a bomb shelter where
It's
people would
interesting.
hide when like there's bombing. And
Hmm.
after the war, they turned it into a club. And I think it's the longest open club in Lebanon. So it's been open for 30 years, 30 plus years, and
Uh,
it's still going.
it's still going. So it survived
Yes.
the biggest
Yeah, yeah,
explosion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, because it's underground,
Oh, hmm,
so it wasn't damaged. I mean,
yeah.
it was damaged, but not like totally destroyed, I would say.
Mhm. You said you're a
Uh,
DJ, and I read the
yes.
interview with you in you in a competition of yeah.
Yes. So
Tell
yeah,
me
I'm a
more
DJ
about
as
it.
well. So yeah, it was a competition hosted by Red Bull.
Hmm.
You know, like how Red Bull, like they have those like car competitions, drift competitions, diving competitions. They have like all sorts of competitions, and one of them was for DJs. It's called Red Bull Freestyle. Freestyle because I mean the only rule is that you need to play at least three styles of music,
Hmm.
not just I mean you could play like hip hop, house, and I don't know, maybe Arabic music, something like this. Uh, so yeah, the way the competition works is you submit a 5 minute video, and then there's like a jury that picks six people from the participating countries, let's say, because it wasn't
Hmm.
for the whole world. And then those six DJs who are picked, you have to prepare a 15-minute set, and yeah, you go to an actual club. It's like a
Hmm.
party, and then the six DJs perform, and then the judges perform because the judges are also like big DJs. And
Okay,
at the end of the night, they pick a winner, and then the
and that
winners
was
go
you.
to yeah, that was I saw one like I have the trophies, like you can see, like there's this one, and
Oh, great.
yeah, there's this one.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, there's this one and this one.
Hmm.
And then you go to the world finals, and you compete with the winners from different countries. There are 24 competitors, and yeah, you compete like for the first place.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was like world finals were on another level, I would say.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah,
Let's just
didn't
stop that you are a winner.
yeah
You are best in
yeah
Lebanon.
yeah yeah.
Yeah. What was first for you, music or software development? What you learned?
This is something everyone asks me, like why, because like when you get to this level, like why don't you pursue a career in music or
Hmm.
uh I mean, yeah, I think I'm repeating myself here, but it all goes back to like the instability in my country. So yeah,
I understand. Yeah.
nightlife is big, but I remember in 2005, 2006, when explosions started to happen,
Hmm.
they were targeting like areas that are very alive
Oh
and
no.
nightlife. And yeah, that caused some like, you would have like a street full of bars.
Hmm.
And yeah, after those explosions, they just died. All the places closed. And yeah, you never know. Like something might happen and you might end up like with no work. And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's not something that is stable. You can't rely on it, uh, especially nowadays, because like back then, DJ gear was like very expensive, so you need to
Hmm.
pay like $4,000, $5,000 to get like DJ gear. But now you can buy like a $200, $150 controller that is like this small, and you can DJ with it. And
Hmm.
it's becoming like a Christmas gift that you can buy to your son. And everyone is a DJ now. Uh,
Everyone's a dish. Yeah.
yeah, and with like the economy not being so good, yeah, the club owner would be like, yeah, we have someone who is willing to play for free. Why would I pay you?
Mm.
Or So
Hmm.
yeah, it becomes a bit hard, and it's not as easy as people think it is, because some people think, yeah, like you're a DJ, like, yeah, you just go, you play music and you have fun and then you leave. But I mean, no, there's lots of work you need to do in the background. You have to like have contacts, communicate with people, try to find opportunities, meet with club owners. Uh, at some point, you have to become also a promoter, so you have to promote your nights. You have to talk to people to come. I
Hmm.
need to have like a big community around you who are also always willing to go to your parties. And like with age, this doesn't, I mean, maybe it's easy when you are like 18, 19, 21, still at
Hmm.
university, and your friends go to clubs every weekend. But then when you're like 25, 26, 27, yeah, I mean, this community starts
Hmm.
to become smaller and smaller. And then you can't like get 20 or 30 of your friends to the club anymore.
Hmm.
So I mean, yeah, it's not easy, and I always kept it something on the side, I would say, that I do for myself, and it
Hmm.
gives me extra money, which is great. But I don't have to stress about it, like, I need to get this gig, or I need to go play in this club. I don't care. And
Okay.
eventually, like good things happen. So yeah, I won this competition, and then like bookings started to come my way, and I had to do nothing. So
Mhm.
yeah, I started playing abroad, and I think at some point I was playing outside of Lebanon more than I was playing in Lebanon, just because of my
Oh,
titles.
great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I couldn't care less. Yeah.
Have you ever tried to mix it in some way? Music and software development, say AI DJ, AI DJ, DJ AI, or
Mm,
software for
mm.
music, maybe develop software for music,
I'm I'm
something like
a
this.
like I'm a strong believer that AI could not do the work of the DJ. It could probably mix music, yes,
Hmm.
but as long as AI doesn't have feelings and cannot feel the vibe inside a room or in a club, it's
Hmm.
not going to be able to replace the DJ.
Maybe some assistant for DJ.
I mean, definitely, or we already have things like this. So, I mean, the latest thing that happened in DJ world, I would say, is something that Serato developed, which is like the shirt I'm wearing.
Hmm.
It's like a company that does DJ software. And recently they released an update that allows you to split a song into four parts, which is
Oh,
the vocals, the melody, the
hmm.
bass, and the drums. And
Any
if you,
song.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And if you have like a really good PC, something like Core i9
Hmm.
with, I don't know, 32 gigs of memory, it could almost do that for you in real time. So
Hmm.
you can load a song, remove the instrumental and just keep the vocals, and then just like drop another instrumental, and yeah, you do a live mashup.
Hmm.
Before it was very difficult to do something something like this.
No, yeah, I see. What is more difficult, say, to master DJ instruments and DJ software, or say Java?
I mean, I think I think they both have an infinite way of going, because with
Mhm.
Java, I mean, you cannot master Java. You can, yeah, know the
You cannot
language,
master Java, yeah.
but then like there are so many tiny things that, yeah, you can make it like more and more complicated. The limits are endless. Like you
Hmm.
can always learn more about Java. There might be some new updates, something that's new that has been added to the language. Plus, I mean, you could learn things about like concurrency, things about I don't know, parallel programming, uh, mean, I don't know, all sorts of things. You cannot master all of them. You would always have a situation like, yeah, where you maybe don't know how to deal with it, and you have to go research or read something.
Okay,
Same
and
thing, same thing with DJing, because there's the basic thing where you can like mix two songs. That's great. It's like, yeah, I know how to write code. But then again, like there are technical things which are physical, I would say, like scratching, for example, where you need to move the fader like this, and then move the platter, and then like midway you have to close, and then move it, and then like open, and then like tap it twice, and then you can do it at 100 beats per minute. Okay, you mastered that, now do it at 110. Oh, you mastered that, now do it at 120, 130, 180, 200.
yeah,
And you can make it as complicated as possible. It's just that
yeah,
you need to be fine with something. You're like, I learned this much. I think this is
yeah.
good. If I just practice this all the time, and like to keep like my muscle memory, it should be good. Same thing with Java. I mean, could always learn about things, but I mean,
Very wise answer. Very wise answer. What's next for you? Now you're in Czech Republic and Microsoft.
I learned the moving to Microsoft in the Czech Republic taught me one thing, and it's that don't think too much about what's next. Because for me, 9 months ago, what's next was getting married and moving to like my new apartment, and yeah, was just thinking about this new phase in my life. But yeah, I'm getting married, and yeah, I bought an apartment and I've furnished
Congratulations.
it. So thank you, thank you. So yeah, I was excited to move in, and that was everything I was thinking about. And then like this message on LinkedIn pops up, and I was like, Microsoft, I'll probably get rejected. It's going to be very difficult.
But no.
And long story short, it happened. And yeah, everything I had planned just changed in one email when this like until the day they told me like you got the offer. I still had it in the back of my mind that there's probably gonna be someone who like did better than me. And I mean, they said, yeah, we want to give you an offer. And I was like, okay. So now what? Like I moved to the Czech Republic. What language do they speak there? How's the weather? What's the food? Uh, so yeah, I think things that are gonna happen are gonna happen. Don't think too much about the future. Definitely plan something, have something in mind. Uh, but don't push it, because if something is meant to happen to you, it's going to happen to you, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
But I would say I definitely want to, like personally, I want to learn more. Uh, so yeah, currently I'm developing in C sharp, which is quite close to Java, but still different. So yeah, master C sharp, uh, and contribute more to designs in the team, and understand more like the Microsoft uh, infrastructure, I would call it, or architecture, at least for like my team. And then what happens next? Like, do I stay at Microsoft? Do I change teams? Do I stay with my team? Do I go back to Lebanon? I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think about it? What do you think about when you think about going back to Lebanon? Do you see it?
Again, like I don't
Do you
know
see
if
yourself there?
if the situation. Look, let's not like lie about it. Everyone likes their home country, even if it's in a bad situation. You're still gonna want to maybe go back one day. Uh, but like with the current situation, it's probably not gonna happen anytime soon. But I mean, if the circumstances happen to allow that, yeah, I would definitely go back. But on the contrary, I need to have something there. So I'm not just gonna go back and have no job or whatever. But I mean, I don't plan it. So I know some people say
Yeah.
like, yeah, in 4 years I will go here, and then in
No,
8 years. So
no.
this is like it doesn't work, man. Like
Doesn't work.
you
It
never know
doesn't
what.
work.
Yeah. So you can have some options in mind, but I don't think you can plan too much because
This is also a very wise answer. Yeah. I have never planned to become a nomad and live in different countries, but now I am. So, Bits, thank you for this conversation, for your stories.
pleasure, man.
It was
Pleasure.
really interesting. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks to you, and thanks for having me. And it was a pleasure.